all so much for joining us this morning for the second annual Driving Women Forward Breakfast. We're so grateful that you're here joining us this morning, and it's truly been such an inspiring few days at Vision, and this session will not disappoint. It will start the third day off quite strong, so thank you again. I'm Liza McGraw. I'm a customer marketing manager at Motive, and I have the privilege of moderating this panel with four really remarkable women who have dedicated their entire careers to advocating for women at a seat at the table in the trucking, transportation, construction, and utilities spaces. They've not only talked the talk, but they have surely walked the walk. They have created many opportunities for women to have a important piece in such important roles. They have been on the board of Women in Trucking. They have been the first fleet manager at their companies. They saw a gap in the recruiting agencies, and so they've created their own company. They have done incredible things, and I'm really excited for you to hear their powerful stories this morning. And in turn, we hope that you feel inspired and you're able to feel motivated to carry the torch forward in your own roles. So without further ado, I'm going to stand at this panel and turn to you guys. I'd like to introduce Ingrid Brown, Sandra Adat, Stacey Gibson, and Camille Gaines this morning. So if you ladies could please tell us a little bit about yourself in your career journey, that would be great to start. Ingrid, you can go first.
Oh, I got on the wrong end. I should have gone first up there. Hey, I'm Ingrid Brown. I work at Blackjack Express LLC out of Proctor, Arkansas. I have been a CDL holder and driver since 1979, which, 45 years this past December. I have run 49 states. Everybody can go 9. Yes, I have run Alaska and all. I got in my career by my father and my uncle had a road construction company, so I grew up in the construction company side, building roads, this kind of thing, learning to run equipment, learning to, becoming the civil engineering side as well. But I was pulling our asphalt tankers and running dump trucks and stuff from the time I was able to have my CDL. Went out, I had my own authority for 42 years. Due to medical stuff, I gave that up 2.5 years ago. I was able to come back in a few months, and I went to work with this amazing company I'm with now. And probably everybody that's here knows me as, I'm the one that has the big red truck outside. If you haven't seen it, go out the front doors and you'll see the back end, you can see it. But yes, I'm very honored to be here today, and man, we're having a blast. I mean, this is going to be fun. So, thank you.
I'm Sandra Adat. I'm coming from Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. I've been in the construction, or utilities industry for 15 plus years now. I work for Aecon Utilities Incorporated, which is one of the oldest and one of the leading construction companies in Canada, and we've just recently come into the U.S. I started my career in design and draw and in engineering. And then I never thought I was going to be a general manager for fleet. I went through all the data integrations and analytics and did all of that with my team. And now through my love for telematics and information has brought me to be running one of the largest fleets in Canada for 3,000 to 4,000 units in construction. So very honored to be part of this panel today.
I'm Stacey Gibson. I'm with Peoplease. I've spent the last 20 plus years in operations, risk, safety, compliance. Specifically over the last 10 years has been within the transportation industry. So definitely was a big turn for me coming from kind of the service side and industrial. So it's been a fun ride though after these last 10 years. So.
I'm Camille Gaines. I'm a CEO and founder of Rig on Wheels Broker and Recruitment Services. So we are a third-party truck driver recruitment agency. So this past January has been 15 years, and the owner and host of the Rig on Wheels show. So that is a truck driver recruitment show, or just a truck driver recruiting show, just period. We talk about all things trucking on there as well. I do come from a trucking family background. That actually is not what prompted me to get into it. I got laid off many years ago and just decided to stay in recruiting, and trucking found me again. So that's kind of what my story is. And anybody in trucking knows you just either love it or hate it. So it definitely is my passion. So that's my entire story there.
Thank you, Camille. As we all know, mentorship is such a powerful tool for elevating your careers. Can you ladies please discuss if you've had mentors or champions along the way, and how have they impacted your career? And if possible, have you paid it forward in any way with someone that you've mentored?
I'll start.
You can just start down there.
Yes. So I've had two types of mentors. I've had some mentors that were more like naysayers, of course, that you learn from, learn what to do and what not to do. And definitely to prove wrong, start early and understand that. Then I've had one definitely that stands out. He was more than a mentor. I subcontracted under him, and he actually just retired this December. But Larry Johnson, he started Sterling Solutions. And he was a third-party truck driving agency as well, truck driving recruitment agency as well, and more of a father figure. But he taught me everything in this business, everything in trucking, everything in recruitment, just the foundational with this. So I owe my entire journey to him. He definitely is the greatest mentor that I have had in this business. Yeah. Cool. And how I pay it forward, I make sure, I make sure that I'm an advocate for women. Because he was there for me before I even knew I had a voice, before I knew I had a name. So I make sure that I'm that for other women as well.
That would be you.
That would be me.
Yeah, like Camille said, I mean, I've had so many mentors and really more champions, I think, along the way. As we all do, right? You know, we start at our first, big girl or big boy job at whatever age that is, and you have that person that you kind of cling to that helps guide you and get you on your way. So multiple champions along the way and cheerleaders. A huge mentor for me throughout my entire life has been my grandfather. He was a businessman, an entrepreneur, and I learned, not only business and operations and things from him, but just how to treat people in business. No matter what their walk of life, he owned, and this may age me but hopefully it ages some of the rest of you in the room too. He owned Ben Franklin stores, if anybody remembers those. And so, I was always in the store with him. I just loved going there, and he taught me how to run the cash register when I was 9 years old, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. And so he's been a mentor for me. I call on him so many times. Just, hey, Granddaddy is what I call him. Hey, Granddaddy, I've got this situation. How should I handle it? What should I do? Or, I'm thinking about doing this, in my career path, or I want to maybe go in this direction. And he just gives me the best guidance, and, just really paints the picture and provides options. It's like, and is such a forward thinker of, and if you do that, this is how it may turn out. So I've continued just to then try to be that person, as Camille said, for women and men in the industry. But one of the things that I've tried to do is just give that confidence to other women in my life who are, younger than me and kind of coming up the ranks, and just trying to give that encouragement and make sure I provide that guidance to them as well. And with that perspective of, okay, yeah, I've kind of been there, done that, got the t-shirt, right? So let me tell you how that went for me. Not that it would go the same for you, but just, think about those things before you make those moves. So.
So I have to say there's probably 2 mentors in my life that's really changed how I am as a leader, how I'm an individual in this industry. I've been in it for a long time, and it's been always challenging to be a woman in construction or a woman in utilities. So when I first started my career, I had a phenomenal female leader who really taught me how to navigate through the system, working with the individuals, how to build your network to ensure that you have a seat at the table. At that time, you didn't always have a seat. You were not always invited. You had to kind of politely and respectfully get yourself there. Somebody who came in my career a little bit later, which was very surprising to me, was actually my predecessor in my role today. He approached me when he was retiring and asked me, we talked about me becoming a fleet manager, taking on this large fleet. And I said, well, we do fleet and services. I'm a data person. I come from engineering. How the heck am I going to run a fleet? I can't turn a wrench. I can't fix an engine. To me, it was something that was very impossible at the time. And he had been in the industry for 30 some odd years. And he said, Sandra, you know what? You're one of the most resourceful people that I know. It doesn't matter that you haven't turned a wrench. You'll find the right people to put around you, and you will grow them, and you'll have the right team, and you'll be successful at it. So it really touched me, gave me the confidence to do what I do today, to be here to speak, to be able to help not only women of tomorrow and champion them, but also my younger leaders in my group. I want to give them exposure. I want to give them opportunities. I want to teach them what I know from not only a fleet perspective, but a data perspective, and how innovation is going to help us change what we do today. So that's kind of my story.
This is hard to follow. Wow, you ladies are something else. I'm just so honored to be up here. I have millions of mentors. When I say I have one, I don't just have one. When I came out, there was less than 1% of women drivers. When I came out, there were only 6 of us that I knew on the whole East Coast that ran their own truck to the West Coast and back, turnarounds. We used to leave each other notes or birthday presents and stuff at truck stops. You check and see, hey, did Lisa leave me something this week? Did we, So my mentors were actually the men in this industry. The ones when I had a light that was out and I couldn't get it fixed and I'm parked in the middle of the rest area and I'm just at my wit's end of trying to find that one wire. And these are the people that built my career. These are the people that literally, not just physically, but they showed me the mentality, they showed me the courtesy, they showed me the compassion, and they educated me how to do these things. So I have millions of them. I have 49 states full of them. And I still have so many of them today that I had from the beginning that are still with us. So my mentors have been great. When I started seeing more faces of women coming into the industry, I thought we had hit the lottery. Yeah. It was so exciting, and once we got more communication, because of course, we didn't even have 800 numbers. If you wanted to call somebody, you were calling collect from the road. So with the transition of innovation and technology, and we started to be able to communicate more, it was obvious that I wasn't seeing the less than 1% in the industry, but now I'm able to see the 1+ grow. And in that, I'm from the time that Women in Trucking was actually the thought of it. We were sitting in a hallway waiting to tear down Dallas Truck Show in 2003, and there were 4 of us sitting there, and these ideas, we kept saying, how do we get more women? How do we get women to understand that they can be recruiters, they can be retention, they can be accountants in the transportation? And so, when Women in Trucking took off, I've been there since day one. I am a board member of that. I'm very proud of that because of what the mission is of bringing more women in. I go to that because the way that I pay it forward in my sense is, you know, this industry is open to anybody. We have to get that information out there. When I say it's open to anybody, it's open to the ones that are graduating high school that can start tech schools, they can start driving careers in their own state till they're 21. You've got single moms that can work regionally, and this is in the driver pool for the second I'm talking about, to where you have ones that are widows, you have ones that are empty nesters, and the husband-wife wants to get out and learn. You have ones that retire. They want a second career. This industry doesn't just start when you're at college age trying to decide what you're going to do with your future. This industry is a career at any age you have. And the more that women understand that there is a place for you, you could take all of our faces up here and block them out and put any face in this world, and they can do anything that the four of us do and have done in our past. And the greatest thing is you've got the support nowadays in networking and social media and phones and emails to be able to stay in touch. We formed a bond, and I just want to say thank you to Motive and Liza and stuff, that the four of us, I'm like waiting for them to break loose because we're really not this quiet. I mean, it's a new sisterhood. We've got Mark and Joe and Rob. We have all the guys that are in on this with us as well. So don't ever forget that we need each other. It's kind of like saying carriers and drivers and brokers need each other. Everybody needs each other in this industry. Without each other, there's nothing that any of us, we wouldn't all of us have a job.
That was incredible. Mic drop.
Yeah.
So sessions like this and conversations like this are a great start and great for momentum, but what other changes have you seen in the industry over the years regarding diversity and inclusion, and what progress do you think still needs to be made?
Nobody talk at once. Everybody shut up for a second.
We're listening, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'll say just, building off of what Ingrid had said, I think, the technology, right, that's come about over all of the years that has allowed the connectivity to happen, right? I can now, I'm based out of the Nashville area, so, I don't have to just stay within, that range, right? And see who's out there that I can connect with and get help from. I can reach out, to someone in California. I can reach out to someone in Canada.
Yeah.
Of course you can.
What? Like
We're going north.
that was not even a thing for me, a minute ago. So, that's huge. And again, so whether it's women or men, just the capability now to be able to have that kind of reach is huge. And you really do, everybody, especially anybody who's, super business minded, over these last maybe decade, 5 years, you really, even if you just do business here, you have to have a global mindset, right? You hear that term thrown around a lot. And you really do. And it's amazing because, I'll say just even at the beginning of this conference, before it started, Ingrid and I and Rob, we met a couple they were here from Ireland on holiday. But they owned a trucking company. And so, we struck up that conversation. They actually came into the Motive conference for the first day before they headed out on their flight. So it's just like, you never know who you're going to come across. You never know who you're going to have an impact on or who's going to have an impact on you. So, just things like this, the conferences, where you can make those connections. I mean, it's amazing what's occurred over the years.
I think for me, I can say from a Canadian perspective is accessibility. Back in the day, we always say is that, there weren't things made for women in construction or the resources what we've seen in Canada changes is that there are programs to allow for women in trades. We've also, working with the vendors have created safety equipment that tailors to female body types, as opposed to being able to throw something on, from boots to gloves to vests, that were not fitting, which could cause even more safety issues. So we've seen that companies are taking that stance to allowing us accessibilities to the safety gear and programs to encourage that diversity in our workforce.
That was good. Yeah. I want stuff that fits. Can you hook me up?
Yes, get you something.
You know, just like I was talking about technology, and you know, I can get into the truck side stuff. I've worked with the interior team at Peterbilt because I'm 5'2", and sometimes most things don't fit. Right. The big red truck out there inside has a shelf in it that you're supposed to put a microwave up there. Everybody else puts a microwave up there except Ingrid, because if I pull something out, it's above my head. And when I showed them at Peterbilt, because I was at their open house with the truck, and they were like, oh, no. I'm like, that's all right. I can stuff stuff up there. We're good. So, you know, coming about with the way that innovations are doing in different areas, that's one side of how trucks are doing. It's like motive. We put cameras on my truck, the OmniCam, and if it's not raining, you're more than welcome to go see. Or if you want to get wet, you can go anyway. I'll hang out with you. The OmniCams are amazing. They do have the demonstration of those as well, and you can see how they go. I'm amazed with it. I sat in the truck, and of course you can't see these as you're going down the road, which I love that fact because that's a safety feature. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to be distracted by something, you know, that's going to catch my attention that doesn't need to at the time maybe. But the way that innovation works goes in 100 different ways. Not only is it keeping the general motoring public safe, it's also keeping me safe. I thought last night, because I can look out my window and see my truck, the top of my truck down below me. I get up like every hour and look. And I've got all the lights on. And I thought to myself, does anybody realize what the safety is for me in parking with that? My fleet now has access to see my cameras at night in case anybody tries to break in, anybody tries to steal the truck. I don't think they want me in it. And but the safety features that these things are developing, and sometimes I don't know that Motive might not realize you gave me a safety tool to be safe when I'm going into LA this week, which I really am. So these type of things that are moving forward and moving into the direction that's addressing many things for many people to keep us all safe that way. And the understanding, the connections, sitting and having these conversations this week, it doesn't matter 45 years. It's been this week and I have learned even more. And I'm like a sponge. I love it all, but the thing is, it doesn't do any good unless I pay it forward and tell you about it and show you and other drivers and other people with fleets and that. Our company has 26 oversized dimensional specialized trucks. And somehow I just open my big mouth and I have 6 reefers that I run, mine and 5 more. So I have 5 amazing guys. They're all on trucks, got them just situated. So now I'm back into the fleet side as well. So I kind of got my hands full, but I'm loving it because these are the things that are going to help me improve my fleet as well.
Well, I'm like Ingrid, I shift things a little bit. So I talk more of the leadership side. So things over the last 15 years have changed. We still have a lot to go. We do have diversity. We do have inclusion. We don't have enough equity, right? Without that, it's just tokenism to me. And I wrote an article about that in Forbes as well. However, what I do notice, because we are getting more females into leadership within trucking, because that's where I speak from, is the trucking, not the transportation, but trucking is my niche. Because of that, we are able to talk about the height of things or the way our bodies are shaped, so the importance of the seats in the trucks, or the importance of when I ask, well, you want to know what size shirt I wear. Is it going to be ladies or unisex? Because I refuse to wear a unisex shirt because I'm losing weight and I will not look boxy. So I will not represent. I will not represent your company and look boxy, right? So men may not understand that, and you shouldn't. That's the reason why we are different. We are different. But leadership, and I need to represent women. And that's the reason why it needs to be more women in leadership. So we have come a long way, but it needs to be more of us so we can represent more of the gals that aren't in leadership. That is the entire point of us being at the table.
Amen.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so Ingrid has been a truck driver for many years. That is the reason why she sits on the board. She's able to talk about the things that are important. She's able to tell Peterbilt all of these conversations. The same thing with you as far as being in construction. If we don't have the women leaders that can actually speak these things, then folk won't understand why I will not represent your company with a boxy shirt. Like I just won't, you know? So those type of situations, you just literally won't understand. Because at Rig on Wheels, we have shirts that are for men and we have shirts that are for women. But also, I don't ask a woman ideas for a man. I ask a man ideas for a man because I have never been a man. So we need to have that particular thought pattern, but that can only happen if we have those two genders at a leadership table.
Ooh, that's perfect.
Great job.
What would you say are the most rewarding aspects of your career thus far? I know we've touched a little bit on that, but how do you stay motivated through the challenges as well? Because I know there's some of those too. Oh, sorry.
Just go this way.
Let me just tell you. I mean, what motivates me is everybody around me, all of the people that I meet and get to work with. I mean, you know, I just met Liza a month ago. Liza motivates me. You know, I mean, if you've met her, you understand. If you haven't, meet her. Getting to do what I do every day and working with all the people that I work with, that's motivating. I love to be the fixer and the helper, and I get to do that every day. I love that my clients trust that I understand what their needs are, I understand their pain points, and I'm going to do everything that I can to help them get through that and help make it better for them. It's one of the reasons I come to these, as well, so I can learn about all this. So, we have a ton of clients that utilize the Motive system. And so I'm so excited to go back and tell all of those clients about, one, what they've missed and that they need to be at the conference themselves. Right. But to be able to share all of that knowledge and again, just be that kind of go-to person. So that's what keeps me going. And then on the other side of that, and what this conversation is a big part of, is just building up that next generation too, and showing them this is what you need to do. This is how you handle it. You want to make a difference. You want to be known. You want to be that person. This is how you have to do it. This is the dedication you have to have. This is the customer service mindset you have to have. Like all of it. So that's what keeps me going.
Thank you.
I'll go next. What motivates me, I'm going to say, one of the aspects is my team. Their dedication, their passion for what we do is every day pushes me to be a better leader, pushes me to challenge those barriers that we have. We run really lean, and their hard work really motivates us to get us to be leaders in what we do. Another one on the more emotional side, which I'm sure a lot of you is, we talk about the generation of tomorrow, but actually I have a 6-year-old daughter, so my daughter motivates me. She's like my mommy. She'll push, because I run a big construction fleet with vehicles and construction equipment. She'll point out and ask me, Mommy, is that one of your excavators? Is that your backhoe? So she's always asking me about that. She's interested in what we do, and it's phenomenal to see someone at that age to be so excited about equipment. When I got my Motive camera in, it yelled at me for speeding, and then, so did my daughter behind me, and she's like, Mom, you need to slow down. Or, I put the cover on to test a few things, and she's like, why are you doing that? You're not supposed to. The AI said you're not. Just her personality and her just to be able to open up barriers and allow her to do whatever she wants to do has really motivated me in this space, because it hasn't been traditionally for women. So I want to be able to allow her to have that opportunity when she grows up. So yeah.
That's so cute.
Sorry.
That's so sweet.
I miss her too.
Well, in the beginning, I'm very driver-centric. So in the beginning, when I was a sole recruiter for Rig on Wheels, it was always the drivers that I wasn't sure whether or not which company would take them on. And we would be able to get them placed and knowing that this really made a difference for them, like knowing that they would be able to eat, that big of a deal, knowing that this truck would be where they would sleep. So that kept me going. But now that I'm no longer on the phone with drivers as much, it is helping the small and mid-sized carriers find their voice, their branding and things like that, so they can attract the right professional driver. So it gives me that same fuel, but I had to find my voice in that because I was so driver-centric. I was like, oh, how do I find my motivation in it? But that fuels me now, is helping the small and mid-sized carriers find their voice to be able to attract their driver.
Y'all are just so cute. I'm sitting here thinking, y'all, we practice this. I'm going to tell on this. Y'all can throw something at me, girls. We practice this. We were like Zoom, okay? We all said what our answers were going to be to this. And it's so cool because we all looked at each other this morning and said, they're probably going to change because we had more time to think about it. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm sitting here right now thinking about what motivates me. And I really can't pinpoint. And I'm going from 45 years back when I was... Yeah. Even when I was 16 running equipment and stuff, and I'm thinking, I only really wanted to stay in that because my mama told me I couldn't do it. And I had to marry the lawyer's son and be a debutante and stuff, and I'm like, no. But no, seriously, there were so many things in diversification in this. I've owned cow trailers and hauled cows. I've owned flatbeds and hauled flatbed. I've owned reefers. I ran regional for when my girls were small. We grew onions and had 81,000 chickens, and I don't know why I was doing that. But anyway, I think of all these things, and the things that motivates me then motivates me now. And that's the fact of I want to see what tomorrow brings. Mm-hmm. I want to see who am I going to meet. I want to see, it's like I'm leaving here going to California for the Trucking for Kids event next week. It's a charity event. And I'm doing quite a few charity events because that's really where my heart's at. Besides working with drivers, that's it. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, guess who I get to see? I could stop and eat lunch with so-and-so in Arizona before I get to... My motivation is the people. Every little section or sector of this industry, whether it's a CEO that owns a very large company that I can call up and say, hey, because we met years ago when their company wasn't quite as large, and things stay. It's the people. It's these ladies up here. It's looking in your faces that you're really listening to us. It's that I'm looking around, looking at some of y'all in your eyes, and you really care. You want to hear what's going on in life. Well, you all are my life. Y'all are what makes me keep wanting to go each day. When it gets a little tough, my motivation is the fact that I've always kept in my mind, no matter what I haul, it's to help somebody. There's not anything that's on a truck that doesn't give or a need of somebody. Mm-hmm. So, as selfish as it sounds, I look at it that I just did something for somebody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I accomplished my day by doing it for somebody else rather than myself. My favorite saying for myself is I don't have to truck. I love to truck.
Amazing. Thank you. I wish we could stay all day because this has just been so amazing. And these four ladies, like Ingrid said, like we've all become besties. Like you guys are the best. Please join me in thanking them. This has been such a great session.
Thank you.